Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Shackcast episode 37. I'm here with Andrew Alliance, and we are going to talk about one of the biggest games this year. This is Starfield. Check out my merch store on Spring. Link is in the description. You'll find apparel, homeware, accessories, pet stuff, and drinkware, all designed around my brand. I'm proud to sport this stuff myself, and I know you will enjoy it as much as I do. Profits from the merch store support the podcast and the YouTube channel. Take a look and see if anything suits you. I have a wide arrangement of colors and sizes, with many designs being rotated in constantly. Listen to the podcast and check in regularly for coupon codes. Thank you for your support. So what do you think? What's your opening impressions?
So opening impressions, thanks for the invitation, man. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
It is just one of those things where this is a massive undertaking, right? When we first heard about Starfield and it was getting ready to come out, we're like, okay, well, what is it going to be and what kind of experience is going to be for us as we're navigating through the different planets and all those things. And what we got is absolutely incredible, man. You know,
Absolutely.
what else can you say? What else can you say? And I think that it is a world where you can really relax and just enjoy traveling and going to these different planets and interacting with the entire community. This big world is just so massive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty excited for just exploring.
It's so almost therapeutic in a way, the way all that works. You get in your ship, you fly across the galaxy, maybe you run into traders or pirates, and then maybe you land on a planet, you discover alien life, you look at the fauna, the flora, you scan, you mine minerals to build an outpost or to upgrade your ship. And the crafting, I don't know if you've gotten into that. The crafting tables that they have, they have like the galley on your ship, which is like the kitchen. And then they have all these different tables where you can do research, armor mods, weapon mods, all these various things. And then you get into shipbuilding and you start taking apart your ship and adding new habitats, which is essentially rooms, which may include crew quarters or different research areas, engineering. It's very Star Trek at this point. And then,
Right.
The bigger your ship gets, you need more engines, you need more thrusters, you need landing gears, dispersed throughout. And people are building crazy ships from Star Wars and Halo. And this is before we even get into mods, because they haven't even launched the mod support yet.
That's 2024.
Yeah. So this is just like the incredible creativity of just gamers. It's not even reaching out into the modder sphere here. And just what I did in my 30 hours of playing, getting the base ship, and then I discovered this little tablet as a part of the main quest. You pick up this little thing, it's called Secret Outpost, and if you read it, it tells you to go somewhere. Well, I went there, and you discover a ship just sitting in a hangar, a big ship, very nice ship. And so what I did was I inherited that ship, essentially, and I immediately, live on stream, took it apart and said, okay, guys, how do we make this crazy? Like, how do we make this bigger, but maintain that sleek and slim profile that the ship has? Because I don't want to lose that, but I get over encumbered a lot, and that was my first problem to solve, was like, I love to collect things in Bethesda games, whether it's armor, guns, all these various things. And, I'm constantly over encumbered. The cargo hold on the ship was, the beginner ship is very small. And then the captain's little locker is only like 40 mass, which is nothing. You could fill that up with food. And once I started doing that, once I added cargo holds and all these various things and extra habitats and added, well, the ship already had an armory, so there's literally an armory where I can just hang up my spacesuits and jetpacks and weapons of all sorts and have them on display. And this is all really for you because it's a single player game, so it's all about you fulfilling the ultimate space fantasy of, all the things that you grew up watching: Cowboy Bebop, Star Wars, Star Trek, any of
Yeah, I love
these,
that.
Destiny, whatever it
Yep.
is. Like, this is the game where we finally
Odyssey, all
Odyssey.
the things that we played. Yeah.
Anything you've ever enjoyed to do with science fiction, like, you can finally be that here, and you can make up your own backstory. Like, I'm a bounty hunter, but I have a perk in my skill tree where every now and then bounty hunters come to kill me for like no reason. They're like, hey, we have a bounty on you. So every now and then I get like an exciting space battle, or pirates will land on the planet that I'm just gracefully exploring, and they'll just be like, oh, hey, we got a bounty on you. We're gonna kill you now unless you pay this. And then I get in a cool shootout, and then maybe I get more cool stuff as a result of that. And then
So for those 3 slots, I didn't put anything.
you
I
didn't,
was like,
dude.
there's positive and negative, positive.
There
And negative. I was
are.
like, you know what?
No,
I
you
was
didn't
like,
want the negatives, did you?
I didn't want the negative, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just have my conversations and
Wow.
just navigate through. Like, hey, let's reason about this. We don't have to do
Mr.
shootouts.
Persuasion.
Let's just talk it through, right?
You
Yeah, so
going
I
for
didn't put anything in
charm.
those slots, man. I was
Mm.
just like, man, we're not messing with that. We're just gonna explore this incredible, incredible universe, and yeah, and then deal with whatever we deal with, man. No super fan following me
No, you don't
everywhere.
want the super. I
Nah,
think you
nah,
can
nah,
just
nah,
shoot him, but I mean,
nah.
that kind of defeats the purpose. But he gives you gifts. The
He
other
gives you
one,
gifts,
I'll
yeah.
tell you, the one I chose, and it melts my heart, is it's called Your Parents Are Still Alive, and you have to wire them 2% of your weekly income, which is nothing, by the way.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
And you can actually go visit them in their apartment in New Atlantis, and you can just go talk to them, and they'll ask you how you're, what you're up to, and
How
all
you
these
doing?
various things.
Yeah.
So it's like the ultimate. Like, it hit me right in the feels. I was like, this hurts.
Yeah.
And then they
That'd be
come
tough.
see
That'd be
you
tough.
at Constellation. They will come to the lodge and meet you there, and like, it's almost like they're coming to your softball games. Like, you're bringing home the latest artifact to Constellation. You're like, yeah, hey, I found this exploring this planet. Let's put it up there, and then your dad's like, good job, son.
I love that.
So that was incredible to me. Plus,
Yeah.
the persuasion system is actually pretty deep. Like,
Pretty deep.
from
It
what I've
is.
learned, like, it's not just you picking the best option to fill up the bar. It's literally, you need to do all the side conversations that you're having with people. You know how you can just ask questions without furthering the ultimate progression of the dialogue. Mass Effect has this, all these games have it, where it's like you can just ask random questions and try to get a feel for what they're like, and you figure out, like, okay, how do they feel about justice? How do they feel about lying? How, all these various things. And then you use that when you click the persuasion option. You say, oh, okay, well, this guy, he's too high and mighty for me to simply threaten him, or to recommend that we do some sort of criminal activity. But it turns out he's got a soft spot for women or something, and so you could persuade him, and somehow negotiate that, and you can make it work, which I thought was really interesting, at a point where I literally talked down a hostage situation, and I felt so cool when I did that.
Of course. Of course, man. Like there's so much and I didn't want to rush it. So
No.
I didn't play a lot of hours because I really wanted to embrace everything that the game has to offer at a pace where it's like, okay, I want to take all of this in, right? I
Yes.
don't want to get a whole bunch of hours and just speed through it just to,
No.
have a conversation about it. It's something that you really have to take your time to enjoy. And it's not a game that you want to rush because if you do, then you're going to be like, "Oh man, Like,
When
I got there
Starfield
too
2.
fast.
I can't believe
Right.
I can't believe it's gonna take you guys another 6 to 10 years. Like,
Right. This game is, was too short. No, you just
no,
went right through it too fast, right? And I
exactly.
think that's the thing. So even when I look at like some of the games that are coming out within the next couple of weeks
Mm,
into even October, Spider-Man is October, right?
yeah, it is.
And then you have the Cyberpunk stuff. There's some in Mortal Kombat 1 and the
Payday
Sonic
3,
Superstars,
Sonic Frontiers
Payday,
DLC,
dude,
Assassin's
like
Creed Mirage,
dude,
Forza Motorsport, Lords of the
Forza
Fallen, Alan
Motorsport,
Wake 2, Super Mario
bro,
Brothers
like
Wonder. No, you don't get to talk. We gotta just name games now. No, I'm
you
just kidding.
just Metal Gear Solid Master Collection.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There's so
RoboCop Rogue
many.
City in November.
Oh my
Modern
gosh,
Warfare 3
dude.
in November. Super Mario RPG in November. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora in December.
It's so much, man. And it's just like you think about like all the games that are coming out, it's just gonna be like super amazing, you
Yeah.
know?
And you don't want to
So
rush Starfield just to get to the next experience. I keep
right,
telling everybody when they ask, they're like, hey, oh, are you going to beat this soon? I'm like, no, let me set your expectations. Like, this is a game that I play over the next year and multiple years, potentially.
right, right.
Because there's just so much to embrace. Like, I never finished Skyrim. I never finished Fallout 4, 76. Like, I put a lot of time into the respective games, but I got lost in them and then just, fell into the whatever the next release was and never finished them. And I think Starfield is a science fiction game that I might connect with a little more than anything else that Bethesda puts out. And this offers a little bit deeper of a role-playing fantasy than having your own, vault or having your own little cabin in the Middle Earth, in your own horse or whatever. Like, we get our own spaceship and we can build outposts on multiple planets or moons throughout the entire galaxy. I can have my own house. I can role play whatever type of spacefaring character I want to be. I can be good. I can be bad. I can walk this gray line in between. And I just can't wait to fill up my hangar with ships and just have like, yeah, this is my speedy combat ship. Here's the starfish from Cowboy Bebop. Here's,
That's so cool.
the big freighter ship for massive cargo hauls and mining planets and whatever, that type of thing.
Oh, Division Heartland, man. Oh my
Oh yeah,
gosh.
that one too. When is that? Did they
That looks like it's TBA.
TBA? Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
This
Yeah, so
year's
it might
pretty
be late.
stacked anyway. I don't want that game to get lost in the fray.
Right. If they move it, it might be spring.
Yeah, that might be a better option, honestly, because there are so many. I don't think you want to compete with Call of Duty either,
No, no one wants to
because
compete
Call of
with
Duty
that.
is coming in strong with
It's
this hit.
massive. Okay, it's gonna be massive. And X Defiant was pushed, right? The
Yeah, it
Valve
got
Industries.
pushed
Yeah, so
to
we might see a
October, I
couple
think.
of push, man. We might see a couple of things get pushed.
Yeah, even Alone in the Dark, they were originally going to be October 25th. They pushed to January 16 because they
Yep.
said, "Listen, there's way too much in October. We don't want to compete with like Spider-Man and Forza and Lords of the Fallen, Alan Wake, and all this other stuff."
Yeah, so Ubisoft X Defiant was delayed because it failed console certification tests. So
I don't
that's what
really
we
know what
got.
that means, but that's not great.
That's odd, right? I've
That is
never
odd.
like heard an article like say that. You know what I
No, that's
mean?
a new
Like
one. That's fresh.
it's like, okay, is it ready or what is the real deal, right? That is a weird headline for a news article.
Yeah, what does
But
that mean? Was it incomplete? Was there bugs? Did Xbox or someone deem that unsatisfactory for them to launch a product in a certain state.
Yeah, so according to this article, it says while the game was previously targeting a summer launch, executive producer Mark Rubin said in an update published on Wednesday that an October release now appears likely as additional work is required to ensure the game meets the platform holders' requirements. So it talks about the holdup in releasing the game is due to the discovery of unspecified compliance bugs rather than any gameplay issues, he said. So that's what they're dealing with. So it's a bug issue. It's not ready.
Okay, that's fair. Take the
So
time
if
you
it's
need.
not ready,
Yeah.
if it's not ready, so which one is a heavier hit where creators get in an uproar? Saying the game is not ready or saying that there's compliance bugs?
Yeah, because
Right?
that almost shifts the blame in a way.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it
So
almost
like,
gets everybody to go
right.
point their
So
anger
it's
away from the devs,
right.
because devs catch a lot of anger irrationally for
So I mean
stuff
that's
they can't avoid.
a great way to put it, to kind of like, okay, so compliance bugs, okay. So according to this, it says compliance bugs are ones that relate to the systems and overall experience that the first parties expect from games on their platform. See that?
Yeah, we want
So
that
it's
bar to be really high, by the
we
way.
want an A plus plus,
Yeah.
right? A plus plus.
I don't
So
want this game to come out and be some sort of, mediocre flavor of the week experience, and then we read another article a week later that says, hey, servers are being shut down, blah, blah, blah. I don't want
yeah,
that.
so I mean we'll wait for it, we'll see what happens. But the question I have for you though in relation to Starfield, because I know we wanted to, talk about that a little bit. Is there anything that you see about the game that folks should not experience it?
Oh, what is that? What does that even mean? What?
Right? Because there's always a pushback with certain genres, right?
Okay.
And we've seen like, No Man's Sky go through its peaks and valleys for not only development, but where it's at today. It's almost a totally different game than how it started out.
It is.
Right?
That's very true.
So because of that, so laying that foundation for the question, is there any reason why you'd see anyone look at this game and say, yeah, and they like the genre, right? So why wouldn't anyone not play this game?
The easy answer is if you don't have an Xbox or a PC. It'd just be
Okay,
like,
that's
well,
fair.
I would just point you to No Man's Sky, or I'd point you towards Cyberpunk or something else in this kind of genre, or Elite Dangerous even, for like the ship simulation of flying through space, getting into battles, docking at space stations, whatever. But for this game, there were a few things that kind of like irked me. You don't really fly your ship all that much, if that makes sense. You load into, I would call it like a hub of space. You choose to travel, like let's say you go to the moon outside of Earth, right? And you choose to land there. You can just kind of fly around the moon. You could push a button to land on the moon. You could turn around and push a button to fly towards Earth. But if you try to fly directly there, we've seen Alana Pierce's video of how she's like near Pluto, but it takes her like 7 hours to reach like the surface of Pluto, and she like flies through it or whatever. Like because the game is about clicking on Pluto and landing to it. It's not about the seamless transition that games like Elite Dangerous and No Man's Sky have, where it's once you get close enough to a planet, like a transition happens. You fly through the atmosphere, it's all seamless, and then you're flying over the surface of the planet, and then you literally pick where you want to land, which you can still do in Starfield. You just look at a map of the planet, you look at where the resources are, or you scan and figure out, oh, there's a building here, there's an abandoned settlement here, or whatever, and you click on that, or you click on a random open field. And it's like you can explore a Skyrim-sized area of a planet, but then you're going to hit a wall, and I've never hit this wall, by the way. You're going to hit that wall, and then it's going to say, like, yeah, you got outside the boundaries, which The Witcher has this, Zelda, Red Dead, all these games have a boundary where it's like either you're going to hit a wall or an invisible wall or a message comes up or whatever and says, hey, turn around, this is all there is to see here. I have not hit that. But if you were to hit that, all you got to do is get in your ship and fly a few meters the other way, and then you're in a new section of the grid of that planet. So, I mean, I would just say if you were looking for the deep space flight simulation combat of things like Elite Dangerous, things that No Man's Sky has, and things that Star Citizen, even the eternally incomplete, massive game that's had millions of dollars, maybe even billions put into it at this point.
Yeah, that's a fact.
It's kind of the ultimate pipe dream of a spacefaring game. And so I think Starfield delivers in a really good way, but that is the one part that brought me a little bit of pause. I was like, oh, this was not what I thought it was, but then again, we only had certain gameplay trailers and impressions to go off on until we got official hands-on. You don't see how that works, and you spend a lot of time in the menus, and I'm probably going to make a video on this, but there is a way to sort of look at where you want to go and then hold a button and then you will travel there. But the game doesn't really tell you how to do that. They just tell you, pull up the galaxy map, click on where you want to go and go. And that gets monotonous after you've done it like 20, 30 times. You feel like you're playing a menu more than you're playing, in your ship. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll go either into my quest log and make sure I have selected where I'm going. That way, that waypoint shows up when I'm in the pilot seat. Or I'll go to the nav console, which is in every ship I've seen thus far, and you look at the space map there, kind of like you would in Mass Effect, and mark where you're going, and then walk to your cockpit, get in, and the secret is you pull up your scanner with left bumper, look at the objective or the planet or whatever, and then I think if you press A, it brings up a thing that says X. It says like hold X to fly here, to travel, or it'll say X mission, and that just means it'll fly you to where the mission is. And they don't really tell you that. That's kind of a thing that the tutorials don't really mention. This is like, these are like one of the things that the game doesn't tell you. It's deep beneath, between the fine print that you could never see. Little tips like that you could easily miss and never know. I think a video on that would be really valuable. Remember that the best way to support the channel is to sign up for a membership on the YouTube channel. Members get exclusive channel badges to highlight their continued support over the months and years. As a member, you get access to special emojis expressing a variety of emotions and support for the channel. Members will also receive photo and status updates, early access to select videos, and at higher tiers, access to a members-only Discord channel. Your support is what keeps the Shackcast photography blog and the YouTube channel going. Please like and share the video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on a video or a Shackcast episode. Thank you for tuning in.
No, super cool. No, I love it, man. I love it. What I've experienced thus far, it is really, really dope. And there's really nothing bad that I can say about this experience, man.
It's gorgeous.
It is on Game Pass. It is on Game Pass.
It is on Game Pass. So once again, it's not even a game you have to purchase. I mean, if you have that membership, you can play it on PC, you can play it on your Xbox. And this is the other thing. It runs really stable. I'm not seeing a lot of complaints of, issues with getting the game to run or having like massive bugs. This is a game that they've took a long time to make sure that everything at launch comes out right. And when they drop the mod stuff next year, that's going to be an insane game changer. We're going to see how creative this gets. And if they ever, if they have DLC for this, like, build your own space station or, whatever comes next. You know, having your own fleet of ships, or being able to command something larger than your simple spaceship. You know, maybe there's more things to come.
Yeah,
I couldn't
I've tried to
imagine.
play it. I've tried to play it on a regular hard drive. Man,
No, you
don't
want
do
that
it.
SSD.
You
You
want the
gotta have that.
SSD.
There's a
You want
lot
the
of
SSD.
mechanics in the background because I mean it's rendering every item in every location. So if you dropped a gun somewhere on Mars, it's gonna be there when you get back to it.
Yeah, yeah. Just use the SSD, guys. Don't try to play it
Yeah,
on a regular
yeah.
hard drive.
No, this is a next gen game, and I think Todd Howard got caught saying that, where he was like, "No, this is one where your rig needs to be up to par. This is a next gen title. You know, you need to be prepped for this. You know, this is not
Yeah,
just another game. This is
and it runs really good. It really
genre
does.
defining. Yeah,
Yeah, so we got two more things, and but yeah, Starfield, definitely check it out.
yeah.
Definitely check it
Highly
out.
recommend."
Highly A++ for sure. What else you got, man?
Okay, so No Man's Sky has dropped an update called Echoes, and literally, I have a link in the description down below. I it just looks like in this short clip here that PlayStation has shared, it just looks like the X-wing flying into the Death Star, like in the narrow trenches, you know, running through there to disable shields and dodging mines and laser towers and all these various things. Um, they're celebrating.
Oh, that looks so good, though.
They have a new robot race that they're adding to the game. They're going to have ways that you can chronicle your journey with an in-game museum type thing. Improve quality on PlayStation VR 2. This Echoes update is going to be really something special. Being able to get into massive space battles with like large frigates and, you know, just sort of live that ultimate science fiction space combat fantasy. I mean, look at how far the game has come since it came out.
Yeah.
When the promise was, you know, oh, it's going to be massive. It's going to have multiplayer co-op, all these things you've ever wanted, and it came out with like none of those things. And then they've spent years and years slowly adding in all those promises they lied about, but then they've come to a point where they've added so much more that it's like it's really hard to have any sort of malice left over if you really look at what they've done with this game. It's an entire 180 and then some.
Yeah. No, they did an incredible job.
That's 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Some will say slight rebrand, pivot, but it looks really good. It looks really good. You gotta give them props, man.
Absolutely, you have to. Now, next thing I have here is on Cyberpunk 2077. There is a Phantom Liberty DLC that's coming September 26th, 2023. And what's interesting about the Phantom Liberty update is that there is a paid expansion, which includes several things. But before we get into that, I want to talk about what's free in Update 2.0, which just will launch alongside Phantom Liberty. So let's say you're still playing the base game or you haven't played the game at all. This is the perfect time to jump in because this free update will redesign the skill trees and perks, revamp cyberware and new capacity system, vehicle combat and car chases have been revamped, combat AI improvements, new police system has really made the police in the game a serious threat and a little more intelligent than they were. I think a lot of people sort of expected, at least at the bare minimum, that the game would have kind of the equivalent of like GTA police. And I felt like they really didn't even have that. There's also UI and UX improvements. So that's your HUD, your menus, all these various things. Loot items and crafting changes, new radio stations, including a community radio station called Growl FM. And then the paid expansion, if you purchase it, you will get Dogtown, a dangerous new district in Night City, Brand new storyline and characters, including Idris Elba, who we love. New quests, gigs, boss fights, and more. Vehicle missions and airdrops, endless dynamic events, all new relic, skill tree, and abilities, 100 plus new items, weapons, cyberware, cars, and fashion. Vehicle missile launchers, and the level cap will be increased to 60.
It's a new game.
It's
Right?
Cyberpunk too.
It's a new game.
It is. It really is.
Any complaint you've had about this game? So the low cap was 50, and now it's 60.
Mm-hmm.
As you mentioned, I'm not gonna reiterate everything that you've shared.
Yeah.
You did a masterful job. It's a new game.
It's a new game.
That's where we're at. Okay, so if you didn't know what was happening with Cyberpunk, now you
Dude,
know,
you know.
right? And I think that what they've done with even that world is pretty fantastic as well. So
Now, did you play this at all? Did you have time to get into it ever?
I played the first experience,
Mm-hmm.
and that was buggy in a lot of ways, and to the point where, if I remember, they took it off the PlayStation Store because it was
Yeah,
so
they
buggy,
did.
right?
I remember that.
Do you remember
That
that?
was
So yeah,
bad, dude.
so after that,
I had
I
no
haven't really
interest
been back.
myself after that. No.
We took a break.
But I think now is a perfect time. I might start the campaign over and just jump in and see what this whole new experience is like, because that's how I felt. When I logged out, I said this is not the game that I saw in all those trailers, all the hype, all these various things.
Right.
This is not what I was originally sold. Like, this needs to sit in the oven, and it came out in 2020, right? So it's been 3 years.
Yeah, man.
And
That's
they said they
crazy.
were going to have multiplayer. They said, hey, we're going to have DLC and a multiplayer mode. That was a long time ago, but a lot of that has been cut, and this is actually the first like actual DLC. But I think it needed that time in the oven to refine all these various things and come back with this update. Even if you were to just sit with the free update 2.0 here, I feel like that would be a completely different game than what we played 3 years ago.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
I would
good for
most
them,
definitely
man.
pick it all up. I would get the whole update and just focus on the main story first, and then hit this up right after.
Yeah, no, definitely good for them for hearing what everyone was saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
And actually taking charge and making the necessary changes, because this game was at a point where it was almost forgettable, right?
Yeah.
A lot of marketing budget and all that stuff went into what we saw and all that, and then we got to play and it was just like, it's
Mm.
okay,
It
right?
felt
And the
like a
PC
cardboard
one,
cutout, honestly.
yeah,
Like
PC
everything
version
was
was,
window dressing.
yeah, and it's just like playing the PC version. It was just like, oh, okay, not everybody was excited. They fought through it, right? They pushed through it,
I
but
tried.
now it's at a place where this is going to be something pretty special for them. So let's see what happens.
Yeah. But that is Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. You can check that out September 26th. And the No Man's Sky Echoes update should already be live at this point. All you gotta do is just own the game on whatever platform, and you're good to go.
For sure. Yeah, a lot of good stuff happening right now, heading into October, man.
Yeah,
It's looking really good.
there is
And even
so
the
much.
stuff that Logitech released recently, man. Like,
Yeah,
you
what do you
know,
think?
yeah. So quick word on that. They
Yeah.
have the Pro 2. So the Pro 2. One of the things that I really appreciate about it now is that it has Bluetooth built in, so I could use it, without the mic, and I could go out with the headset now, right?
Mm-hmm.
With my phone. They didn't have Bluetooth in it before like that, so that's cool. And then the other thing too is most of these headsets, they so you have the Astro line folds down, right? And the Logitech headset never really did that until the Pro 2, the Pro X2. So now the cans fold down, so they don't stay up anymore only. And I think that was a very, very good quality of life piece that they added to that. I think the next thing that is going to make it even, super, in the future is a lot of these headsets now have the magnetic replacements for the ear pads.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a really, really good game changer if the Pro X line incorporates that, because I think you have to manually put on the ear pad. It's not the magnetic experience that you get from like an Astro headset or so and stuff like that. But I do understand that both lines, although they're under the Logitech brand, they're independent on what they are by way of product, right? And of course, you have the super light mouse that came out, and then you have the new TKL keyboard. I mean, there's just hitting out of the park, man. And Loop Deck they recently acquired. So what can
Mm-hmm.
you say? What can you say about Logitech, man? So shout outs to them. I guess there's a heavy bias for me because I'm a partner, but I
No.
love everything that they do, man. They really do a great job to support us as creators, and I think it's only going to get better from here.
So I have the Logitech G Pro X, but I have the wired version. And I think I picked that up for like 80 something bucks.
It's really good.
And so now this is the X2, which is wireless. So big game changer here. I don't necessarily need the wireless, but it's certainly cool to have.
Yeah, it's really good. So they've had the wired, which I still use on my phone pretty much daily. I still use
Yeah,
the wired one.
this is my
And
daily
then
headset now. It's so good. It's so
it is.
comfortable too.
It is.
And
And
it's
then you
not
have the
tearing up
Pro
on
X.
me either. And if it does, I think having those replacement parts would be absolutely key.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And then you have the Pro X, the Pro X wired, which we have the Pro X wireless,
Mm-hmm.
and then now you have the Pro X2 with the graphene drivers, right?
Yeah.
Um, and Bluetooth, and I don't. It just looks really, really good. Like every opportunity they get to fine tune things, they do, and they do listen to the creators as well as the pro players. So yeah, so shout outs to them. Shout outs to Logitech for everything that they do, man. I love it.
Absolutely. Incredible job. Anything else you have?
Yeah, so by way of like
Yeah.
promo, if anything, if you are into philosophy or if you're into podcasting, if you go to andrewalliance.me/books, you'll be able to find my books there on Amazon, and that's an easy link to get to that stuff. So that's andrewalliance.me/books, and that will take you to my Amazon page with all the books there, the podcasting book, which I share pretty much everything I've learned in the last, I'd say 12 years now, more, 12 plus years.
Yeah.
And I put that into a book to make it very, very streamlined for those who are starting out. And I also did a philosophy book, Stoic Serenities, which recently came out in June. So yeah, thanks,
Incredible.
man.
No, yeah,
Appreciate the
thank you for
invite,
being
man.
here. No problem.
Absolutely.
Well, gamers, that's going to be it for Shackcast episode 37. I'd like to thank Andrew for coming out and chatting with us. We had some very interesting conversation on Starfield, No Man's Sky, Cyberpunk. Thank you for listening. Be safe, take care, and we will see you next time. Bye. Remember that the best way to support the channel is to sign up for a membership on the YouTube channel. Members get exclusive channel badges to highlight their continued support over the months and years. As a member, you get access to special emojis expressing a variety of emotions and support for the channel. Members will also receive photo and status updates, early access to select videos, and at higher tiers, access to a members-only Discord channel. Your support is what keeps the Shackcast photography blog and the YouTube channel going. Please like and share the video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on a video or a Shackcast episode. Thank you for tuning in.